Just as Mary is the heir to the traditions of lament in the people of God, Thomas is heir to the traditions, alas, of false hopes. After the Babylonian exile, the people had come back, or some of them had rebuilt Jerusalem and restarted the sacrificial system in a rebuilt temple. But God hadn't come back in person. There's no moment in that whole period when the divine glory comes to dwell in the house as it does in Exodus 40 or in 1 Kings 8. They're still waiting. And then there are false dawns, and one in particular, 200 years before the time of Jesus, was when the Judas Maccabeus and his brothers, on a wing and a prayer, they sharpened their swords, they said their prayers, they defeated the Syrian megalomaniac king who had taken over Jerusalem and had corrupted it and turned the temple into a pagan shrine. And so this brave little band, they cleansed the temple. They got things back together again. And many people said, this is it. This is the new day. It's dawned. It's happened. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. And then, alas, the Maccabean dynasty became a dynasty, like a pagan dynasty. They started to behave in the way that pagan kings did. And basically everybody knew that though it was better to be ruled by Judeans among their own rather than by Syrians or Persians or Greeks or Babylonians or anyone else, this wasn't the real thing. And so there were many renewal movements still waiting for something new and good to happen. Then after the Maccabeans, the Romans came in and took over, but the Romans liked to work through local thugs, local warlords. They would get the local warlords to do their dirty work so that they, the Romans, could say, we believe in peace and justice, so nothing wrong with us. But of course, we've got to have local people doing the nasty stuff. And the one that they chose was a man you'll have heard of called Herod. Herod was simply the biggest thug around. And that's the Romans thought, good, he'll do. So they made him king of the Jews. He didn't have much territory to begin with. His territory expanded. The Romans trusted him, so they gave him more and more territory. Herod's motto was, make Judea great again. And as that territory expanded, Herod was rebuilding the temple. Herod was because that's what kings were supposed to do. You rebuild the temple so that God will come back and dwell in it. And that will accredit you as the true king. So there were some who thought, maybe this is it. And after old Herod had died, his son Herod Antipas was still rebuilding the temple. And there were many, they called Herodians, who thought that this was the renewal movement. And you see, Thomas fell heir to this whole tradition of hopes that were then dashed, of possibilities that turned out to be a cul-de-sac. And so when his friends come and say, Jesus is alive again, sorry, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I just can't believe it. We've been hurt too many.